John.
Eric.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm great. It has been a very pleasant few days
than last week.
Weather-wise. Oh, yeah. Last week was rough. This week is less rough.
Okay. That's good.
Especially because, so the weather's been very nice. However, yesterday, there was a heavy hitting rainfall, dumped probably a good 1.5 inches in 20 minutes.
Oh.
At my house. And I talked about this a while ago. I have had problems with it flooding in my basement. And so I spent more money than I wish to admit having some new landscaping and stuff dug out and new drainage put in so that if this happened again, my basement wouldn't flood. And yesterday,
a ton of prevention is worth 2 tons of flooding in your basement.
Yes. So yesterday afternoon, my boy comes running in and says, it's flooding in the backyard. And I'm in the middle of something, and I'm like, and so I can't remember what I was on the phone with somebody. I was, I got to go. So, because I'm starting to panic, is it flooding in the basement? Did all our best efforts not work? Well, so we go outside and we look, and the water is just, it's a water flow. You've seen my backyard. It kind of goes from a high level down. It's like a walkout basement. So on the side, we've got a bunch of rock stuff in the way, and it's just water falling down the stairs and down this rock wall onto the basement patio. But it is all staying away from the house. So
running away as it should.
As it should, but it had overwhelmed the extra one of the extra drainage. It should not be, I should not have a water feature on my stairs.
On your deck.
Right?
Yes.
So,
no.
Yeah. So, no. So it's draining. It's doing that. So I took some video and I sent it to the guys who installed it, that did all the work originally. They're very nice. They're like, yeah, that was a rough one. Let me check. I think what happened is one of the drains probably got covered up with debris. And sure enough, up at top, we go look, and I'm like, I can't find the drain.
The gutter?
There's some in-ground drainage right in the spot where it should all, up above, next to the road, where it should all come down.
Okay.
And sure enough, the debris had basically overwhelmed it because it had been kind of at ground level. And so as soon as it was overwhelmed with leaves and dirt and whatnot, it just flowed over it. So he's like, well, we can fix that. We can dig that out and raise it up a little bit more so that it doesn't, sit below ground level. So it should work better. So they're going to come fix that. But
okay.
I did not have a flooded basement.
Not having a flooded basement is a life goal.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
These are the same people that are actually giving me a bid at the moment to replace my front porch. And maybe do a couple other small things. But I don't think I told you this. He gave me the bid, and he's like, and if it doesn't include any structural work, if we have to do structural work, that'll just be extra. And I was like, extra like a couple $100 extra, or extra like a couple $1,000? Like, I need to know.
Give
I need
me
to
the
know,
order of magnitude.
Is that a lowercase
extra.
e extra, or like uppercase e extra, or like all caps shouting at me, extra?
Right.
So he or his son, I think, came over at some, and I never saw him when he was here. But I was like, if you need to go look at the structure under the existing deck, this is how you do it. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll send the guy out.
Right.
And then he sent me an email the next day, and he's like, yeah, that structure needs to be replaced. We'll rebid it. I'm like, okay then. So I still don't know if it is lowercase e extra or uppercase e extra, but my thing is just as with so many things in life, no surprises. Or at least in work and finances and all, surprises are generally bad.
They're never, you overpaid by a large sum.
Yeah, here's a $1,000 refund. We came in under budget. No. It's So anyway, well, that's good. I'm glad your basement did not flood.
Yeah, but other than yesterday, it has been a very pleasant, week. We went out for walks. We even went, I now that I'm thinking about it, after that rainstorm, I want to go down. So there's this park that we walked through that I think what is one of my something funs at some point was the city finally gave up and let the beavers win, because the beavers would dam up this river or this creek alongside this trail, and it would flood the trail every year. Well, we went on this trail, and we could see there's construction going on, repairing some stuff to put in a new place so that when it does flood, you can still follow the trail. So they're fixing the trail anyways. But we went there. We had a bunch of nice walks. I walked to lunch one day just to get out of the house. It's been nice.
That's awesome. Recent follow-up or immediate follow-up, that was episode 137, Setting Fire to Things.
Ah, there you go.
You talked about the beavers have won.
The beavers have won.
So there you go. A couple years ago. Yeah.
We still walk that trail. It's still nice.
The RSS feed is very handy for searching.
Nice.
No, the weather's been great. I spent like a bunch of time this weekend out in the garden, kind of getting stuff more. I mean, I finally planted stuff today, like literally tonight.
Okay.
My parents got into town, and my mom and I spent an hour or two out there and got quite a bit of stuff planted. Mostly flowers,
nice.
few herbs and vegetables, but I'm super, super happy about that. And the bees are good. So at least as far as I know.
So you have 3 or 4 hives?
3 and a possibility.
3.
I have
3 and a prayer.
Yeah. So, and I did go in. Actually, I did just a super fast inspection. Not really an inspection. I didn't dig them up. Well, I didn't go into any of the hives other than the one where they're maybe raising a queen. I did open that up a little bit just because I wanted to make sure that they were making queen cells, which they are.
Right.
So that's good. But I put in the other 3 colonies, I put mite treatment in this past weekend. So just the organic, it's like eucalyptus oil or something like that. That is,
okay.
I don't know. Hypothetically, it repels mites. And it's a quick treat. So the whole reason, so in Oregon, this is like an Oregon thing, but Apivar is the primary chemical treatment for bees, but it's like a 45-day window. Okay. And in Oregon, the primary nectar flow is blackberries, which is in June.
Okay.
And so like there's not enough time between now and the berries to put the chemical treatment in and have it get out and have some, like I think you're supposed to leave it for a week or 2 after you take it out before you put honey supers on.
Okay.
So anyway, it's kind of an Oregon thing. You sort of have to, if you don't have overwintered bees that you can kind of get in earlier and start treatments earlier. If you're a loser like me and your bees die every year and you throw money at the problem every single freaking year, then
it's not a loser. It's a learner.
I'm a learner. That's right. So, and they're going to learn me good. Anyway, so we'll see, it's all good. It's all good. So, but they were the prayer colony, the walkaway split is making queen cells. So, so there you go. So I'm
fingers crossed for you.
I am. Yeah. I need to do some math and figure out like how long I need to let them alone for, so, which I haven't done. And I need to actually like count out the days. So,
okay.
At some point I'll sit down with the calendar and be like, okay, June 2nd is when I need to do this. But
all right.
We'll see. Anyway.
Okay.
So that's all good.
We did do one indoor thing. We went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, okay. And?
I liked it better than 2. Didn't quite have the charm of 1.
Okay. Okay.
But it was good. If you're still into Marvel movies, I would put it on the list to go see. It was fun.
I plan to see it. We can't do it this weekend, but maybe next weekend.
And so, but I would say, I'll give you the hint. Before you do, I know it's corny, and it actually is kind of corny. There is on Disney Plus Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special for Christmas.
Okay.
Watch that before you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's like 20 minutes or 25 minutes. It's not super long. It's a holiday special. There are some Easter eggs from it in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
And had you watched that before, or did you watch it after?
I watched it before, yeah.
Okay. So
I had seen it. And so, because it's set in the same place, I don't want to ruin it. Anyways, there's, it is, don't go into Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special with any level of excitement or anticipation. It's kind of dorky, but it's a lead into some Easter eggs in the third movie.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, our next 4 days are booked, like 100%. All right. Well, you threw something in follow-up.
I did. It's kind of a something fun follow-up, but we've talked about nuclear power and different options.
Yep.
I'm not sure I was aware that Bill Gates actually had started a nuclear power company in 2008, and they were developing next generation nuclear power. So it's from Gates Notes. So it's a Gates Notes article. And in Wyoming, they've got a new power plant that's supposed to be coming online in 2030 that uses a lot of the things we've talked about. So instead of cooling it with water, it cools it with liquid sodium, which the boiling point is 8 times higher than water. It absorbs all the extra heat. And as it doesn't need to be pumped. As it circles around, as it comes up, it cools off and then falls back down and cools off. So it sounds perpetual motion-ish, a little bit where it's doing this, but obviously it's not, because the nuclear power is generating the heat, which causes the thing. Anyways, all that stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to throw this in there. If you've been listening and were interested in nuclear power and hadn't heard about this, go click on the Gates Notes link for the TerraPower power plant. And I thought it was cool. So that's just a short follow-up.
That is really cool. I am just skimming it right now. I hadn't seen this.
Yeah.
There's a coal plant in Kemmerer that has been operating here for more than 50 years.
And they're going to decommission it, and they're retraining all the employees of the coal plant to work at this new nuclear plant. And apparently the skill set is similar enough that they're not losing any jobs. They're just transferring skills from coal to nuclear.
That's awesome.
Yeah, be cool.
I don't know anything about Kemmerer or where it even is. I'm guessing it's at a very geologically stable place.
Which Wyoming is known for.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Yellowstone sarcasm.
Is that a oh.
Yeah, that's some Yellowstone sarcasm there.
All right, you lost me. I'm not hip to your sarcasm. I'm like, okay. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool to be like, Bill Gates, like, here's the disease I'm eradicating. Here's the nuclear plant that I had designed.
Well, good for him.
Good for him.
I used to not like him. He seems like he's an okay guy.
He's yeah. It's all good. It's all good. All right.
So I actually have 2 articles, and they're pretty short and sweet. The first one is Patch Tuesday, right? So it's a Patch Tuesday article.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say, what?
Yeah. Yesterday was Patch Tuesday.
Patch Tuesday. This one is actually from ICS companies, so Industrial Control Systems. So I think Siemens and Schneider Electric.
Okay. Are they trying
Tuesday
to
advisories
ride on Microsoft's coattails, or just?
I think it's just Microsoft introduced a concept and everybody else is jumping on board. I think really what I liked about this was a lot of the concepts that we're more familiar with in I don't know how to say it, regular software land, are now permeating other
non-RTOSs.
Yeah, permeating other other areas that need a similar kind of thing. So, you never used to hear about, industrial control systems and how, we talked about IoT for years. We've been talking about IoT and problems with IoT and how do you patch things that don't do that. So here you go. These companies are kind of jumping on board and saying, hey, we're going to patch things. So I'm sure part of that is government regulation pushing them that direction, and just the industry as a whole kind of saying, this is how we do things. And if you run things that use software, that run on code, this is how things are done. So I don't really need to, go into any of the different types of vulnerabilities. They have 6 advisories. Siemens has 6 advisories that describe 26 vulnerabilities. And then Schneider Electric, I don't remember how many they said they had. I don't know that they said how many they had, but it was a number. They had acquired a different company earlier, and that company was publishing advisories already as well. So they have different types of issues. If you are a consumer of those products, that is a much smaller number than the people who use phones or Windows. But,
it's non-zero.
It's non-zero, and it's fitting things. So I just thought that was cool is not the right word. I thought it was interesting that, now everybody's kind of jumping on the Patch Tuesday thing, because even Intel
for firmware
is doing a Patch Tuesday. Intel and AMD had a Patch Tuesday list yesterday with 100 some odd vulnerabilities that they addressed.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Across all their software things. All right, so that was article number 1.
That's cool. I did have so for my solar panels, I had to change the Wi-Fi password, and the solar. So it's Enphase is the name of the company that makes all the charge controllers and the software, I guess. And that's good. I like the app. They've got a great app. The solar panels go, there's a charge controller that clearly connects via Wi-Fi and uploads data about all the solar panels and has alarms. And, if ever everything goes wrong, and from my phone, I can see, how much power has been generated every day, that kind of jazz. It's awesome. But I had to change the Wi-Fi password a couple weeks ago. And so I literally was out there, had to take off the big cover on the box and get inside there. And I was just like, it was not, it wasn't difficult, but it was not, it wasn't reliable. That was the main thing. I understand, I'm capable of doing it totally, but it was a hurdle in the way that, most things used to be, right? Where you flipped a switch on the thing and then it opened up a local hotspot, which is fine. You click to the local hotspot, fine. Right. And then you have to open up a browser and go to 192.168.1.1 or something like that, or whatever the IP address was. And I totally had to Google, how do I do this? And it had a hard-coded username and password on it, or let's say a computable username and password based on the Wi-Fi access point SID, right?
Okay.
But the thing is it took me 4 tries of, just pushing a button and then just watching a spinner spin for 4 minutes.
Right.
And then me being, let me reconnect, try again. And then I get an error message. And it was a frustrating experience for that. But I don't think it was supposed to be self-service. But whatever.
Okay.
I put it back on. Anyway, it's not Schneider. It's not, what was the other company? Siemens. No, it's Enphase.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they use a Schneider or
something
underneath it. But
yeah.
Anyway, it was a pain in the butt.
Okay.
But anyway, fun. All right. What was the second article?
So the second one is Phishing Arrests. So the Spanish police arrested a bunch of individuals for involvement in an organized crime gang, said to make 700,000 euro from phishing victims. So that's the yay. Go get the bad guys. Small. It's not a lot, but yeah. But what I thought was interesting in the article is they described how the attackers would do it. So the hackers would send SMS phishing messages to victims purporting to come from their bank and alleging a security issue that required them to click on a link. So on your phone, you get a link that says, hey, your bank account has been hacked. Please click here to verify your information. And the link would take the victim to the spoofed bank login page where they'd enter their login. So then they'd, enter their user and password into the fake website. At that point, the hackers are monitoring this all in real time. They see that the logins were used. Then they went and would request loans through the bank account. I guess maybe short-term loans that they could get,
weird,
super fast approval. They linked the cards to virtual wallets on their phones. So they would, on the hacker's phone, they would link the credit cards to it, and then would go purchase cryptocurrency with those cards, and then swap it out then later for fiat currency, regular currency, and save it out. So they would even get the hijacked bank details, and they had a whole money mule network to cash out ATMs. They had people who would walk down to the ATMs and swipe and get the maximum amount of the ATMs based on, whatever they had. And it was a pretty serious operation. I mean,
that doesn't sound like ransomware. That sounds like organized crime, but not ransomware.
Not ransomware. It's definitely the article was, it's a phishing group.
So phishing group. Sorry. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know where I got ransomware in my head.
They were 2 hackers and 15 suspected members of the Trinitarios group is what they're called. An organized criminal organization, bank fraud, document forgery, identity theft, and money laundering. So the bad guys are using the phishing attacks. Anyways, so there's my second one, was just high five Spanish police. Get them.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. My article tonight is actually about the U.S. government put a $10 million bounty on another Russian.
It's the Wild West. I see a wanted poster with $10 million reward. $10 million.
Well, you don't even have to have him convicted. All he has to do, let's see, where was it? There was a comment. Oh yeah. Arrest or conviction. Not both. Or not just conviction. It's if we can even arrest him. So this is a person, speaking of like mule networks and credit card fraud, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a guy who started his, I'll say business. You should see air quotes when I say business, although, I guess legit run as a business of, validating stolen credit cards that they're still good. So he operated a, service called Try to Check number 2. And it says it was, for the past 18 years, one of the cybercrime underground's most trusted services for checking the validity of stolen credit card data. U.S. authorities say 43-year-old Dennis Kolkov's card checking service made him at least $18 million, which he used to buy a Ferrari, Land Rover, and other luxury items. Launched in 2005. So it's been around the block. And I guess it said 18 years, so 2005 plus 18 is 2023. Math. But it said that they were processing more than 1 million card checking transactions per month, charging 20 cents per transaction. There you go.
It's like Visa.
Exactly. In the billing business.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting. It says Try to Check was so reliable, it eventually became the official card checking service for some of the underground's most bustling crime bazaars. And customers of carding shop, and they white labeled it to carding shops, basically, who would then give automatic refunds if the cards that they sold wound up being bad by the time the purchaser used them. So it's basically if you pay, it's like the ticket insurance. If you pay this extra little bit when you buy your ticket, and if for some reason you can't go to the concert, we'll give you your money back.
Right.
So the Secret Service and DOJ seized the Try to Check's websites last week, and that they were replaced with a domain seizure notice.
Right.
We've had images of those in the past. And they unsealed the indictment and search warrant, naming Denis Kulkov of Samara, Russia as the proprietor. And then they have Instagram accounts. They have an iCloud account. They subpoenaed the iCloud account and got passport photos of Kulkov, as well as, families or pictures of him, family, and quote, pricey cars.
Of course, that's what you do when your crime bosses brag about it on social media. No one will know.
Well, so long as you don't leave Russia. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So here's a quote. Like many other top cyber criminals based in Russia or in countries with favorable relations to the Kremlin, the proprietor of Try to Check was not particularly difficult to link to a real-life identity. In Kulkov's case, it no doubt was critical to U.S. investigators they had access to a wealth of personal information tied to a cryptocurrency exchange Kulkov used. As the title of this story suggests, the hard part for Western law enforcement isn't identifying the Russian cyber criminals who are major players in the scene. Rather, it's finding creative ways to capture high-value suspects, if and when they do leave the protection that Russia generally extends to domestic cyber criminals within its borders who do not also harm Russian companies or consumers or interfere with state interests.
So if you're in Russia and you only mess with foreign governments and foreign bank accounts, they'll just look the other way.
Yes, absolutely. Not just look the other way. Sometimes fund, I think.
Encourage it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the case. But they have captured at the end of the article, they named two other, figures that have been captured in the last year due to the war in Ukraine. Because, prior to the war, there was, kind of fungibility between Ukraine and Russia in some of these. And there were the two people they named were Ukrainians who, when the war broke out, and at least in one of them, when mandatory military service was required in Ukraine, decided to try and flee and was apprehended.
Into the open arms of the waiting foreign governments.
Come on in. Yeah. So,
nice.
So there is that. So there you go. That's the article. If you want to lure Sir Kulkov out of Russia, you can get $10 million just for the arrest.
Okay.
Letting him out.
All right.
Never heard if anybody got the 10 million on, or how much that was for some of the other ones, like the Are Evil guys last year. But
right.
Anyway. All right. Well, there you go. That was my article.
Cool.
How about something fun?
All right. So my something fun is I finally finished the 3-Body Problem trilogy. So
cheers and salutations.
I think I talked about, I don't remember how much on the podcast I talked about. The first book was kind of hard to get through. So it's by a Chinese author. It's in the original Chinese. I read, obviously, a translation, which was kind of cool because it had translator notes littered throughout the book. So you could see, here's the Cultural Revolution and a lot of the stuff that was going on in China that I'm completely oblivious to and have been oblivious to. Was interesting to see. Some of the other interesting things about it was just seeing how much of a biased Western perspective I get reading pretty much any other, even sci-fi, fantasy type novels based on the author. And so this was eye-opening and very interesting to kind of see how a Chinese author sees the rest of the world and how it relates to the story and how it pulls this in. Because this is basically Earth, the plot of the books. So the first book is the three-body problem, which I think I said was a little hard for me to get through. I didn't really enjoy it. I got lost several times. Then book 2 was the Dark Forest. And that one started to get really good, and I got into it. And then the third book is Death's End, and basically it goes up to the end of almost the end of the universe, right? The universe has expired. So it's really quite good. But the basic plot is starts talking about how you would send a broadcast to the solar, outside the solar system. So if you identify a planet you think might have possible intelligent life on it 4 light years away, let's send them a message. What happens is a response comes back, and now there's this fight between this other civilization whose world is dying, who wants to come to Earth and basically conquer Earth so that they can keep their civilization going. But they're 4 light years away, and they only have technology that can travel at a tenth the speed of light. So Earth basically has 400 years to prepare for an alien invasion.
Okay.
So that's kind of the basis of the plot. And then there's...
So Earth does not prepare, and they die. As per COVID. Sorry.
We wrapped ourselves in toilet paper and called it good. Said we're safe.
Anyway, okay.
No. Anyway, so like I said, if you can get through the first book, I think you'll enjoy books 2 and 3 much better than the first one. So I would totally, anybody that's interested, I would totally recommend it. And remember that Eric said the first book of the three body problem
was hard to get through.
Not easy to get through, but once you have that basis, because the rest of the books, of course, build on it, then you can go through the other books much quicker. So my recommendation, the three body problem, the translated version, unless you know Chinese.
It's actually on Kindle Unlimited. So I will.
There you go. Throw it in your list.
I will get it. I gotta return evidently a book because I have my 10 books out or 50 books out or whatever it is that I have. But
there you go.
Okay, cool. I will. I have downloaded it right now. All right, it's downloading. But my something fun is I saw that you had thrown a book in there, and so I was like, ooh, I will use a book too. So mine is the Paternus Trilogy. So yours sounds like a little more erudite and like thought provoking and like
it's mind bending, yeah.
Mind bending. Okay, so this is not. This is like fun. Well, maybe not fun in all places, but like not a heavy read. More on the line of Cradle than let's say The Martian.
Got it.
But it was fun. It was good, and it was it's one of those books where I'm trying to give you the premise, but without like revealing too much. But the world we see isn't everything. The myths and legends and gods, lowercase g gods of history are actually real. They just humans don't just generally see them, and they are hidden. The main characters encounter and then wind up in this sort of whirlwind of effects to basically save the planet, and at the end of the day, but it's very cool. Lots of good premises, lots of great characters, because there's tons of characters that come in that you're like, oh, I like them, or oh my gosh, I hate them. And, there was the Aztec gods that were basically the bad guys. And anyway, and it brings in a little bit of, like Norse mythology. So Yggdrasil and Odin but also anyway, just tons. So, and parallel universes. And anyway, it's very, it was a very, very fun kind of, I couldn't put it down, read.
I will have to add it to my list. Hopefully I can get that done before Cradle Book 12 comes out.
Yeah.
And then after that...
for the Red Dawn or Red Rising.
Red Rising series. Its final book comes out in July.
Yeah.
So I need something new to read. This looks good. So tell me if this is accurate, because the Kindle or the Amazon link you put, it said described as American Gods meets the Avengers with a healthy dose of the Lord of the Rings. Would you go with that?
I don't know what American Gods is.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with no. That sounds like hyperbole.
Good, because I don't know if I want to read American Gods meets Avengers with the healthy dose of Lord of the Rings.
I don't know what that means, but it is like epic quest. Like, how in the world are you still alive?
Right.
After this. So, you do have to suspend a bit of your disbelief, because the main characters, were they not who they kind of are, which you don't find out for a while, but like, you're like, why did you not die in like chapter 1? But got it. But it's very cool. It's very cool. Okay. And there's some great characters in there.
Cool. I will have to check it out.
Enjoy. All right, my friend.
Good deal. Thanks, John.
Yeah. You have a great week.
Yeah.
Enjoy the heat, and I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. We'll see you, John. Bye.
Bye.